We drove on the shoulder to try to get up here, but I just want you to take a look right now. Traffic is at a standstill. No one is going anywhere. The biggest thing to watch out for this morning, the wind. Look at what it just blew my way. We've had a presence here and just watching this develop as this crime scene is still active and still closed. Do you want to build a snowman? Guess what? I did. Take a look here. Are you guys jealous? Now it's even bigger. It's $900 million. So I think I'm going to have to play. We're going to buy a quick pick one here. Let's try this. Ready?
All right, here we go.
Set, go! Oh my God! Turned inside out, you guys. It is so windy. It's rainy. It's cold. Do not come outside if you don't have to. The Kern Regional Center right here in Bakersfield is actually part of the same network that the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino is. Just look, there is water and still mud all over this freeway. The mayor will not publicly endorse a candidate until the filing day closes. Now we've got furry friends indeed. They are all around this morning. He's trying to eat the mic, but I'll give him a carrot instead. Donald Trump has been a real estate mogul, a reality star, a presidential candidate, and now he's a coloring book. CTE, short for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, has been found in the brains of dozens of former NFL players. Check out this critter. It's a chuckwalla. I am 5 feet tall. I'm wearing 4-inch heels. I'm with somebody named George the Giant. Take a look. Good morning. Now the road conditions are actually clear. It's actually so windy, my hood just blew off. It's been my battle cry all morning, and it's going to continue to be. Hoorah! Live at the Veteran Services Department. Thuy Lan Nguyen, 23 ABC.
Hey, wake up! They hit a gas line. You need to get They hit a gas line in your house.
It was a chaotic awakening for residents of a southwest Bakersfield neighborhood after a car slammed into the side of a home and ruptured a natural gas line. James Rhodes, the man who recorded this video, had just returned from a late shift at work and was standing in his backyard when he heard something peculiar.
I just heard them coming around the corner, screeching. We heard the big bang. We heard one of the guys running away yelling.
Rhodes grabbed his camera and his brother and tried to chase after the juveniles fleeing the scene. He wasn't able to catch up and immediately ran back to the car, shutting off the engine. Rhodes says when the noise of the engine stopped, that's when he heard the hissing of the gas.
I could smell it. It was strong.
Rhodes and his brother knocked down the fence
Kick it.
and woke up his neighbors, helping Lonnie Dixon, his mother, and his sister out to safety.
I'll carry the oxygen.
So we all got out and walked down through the walkway and went over and stood on the corner.
A neighbor just houses down heard the noise and came outside, inviting all those who were evacuated into her home for safety and warmth.
I was thinking, how far can it, if it blew up, how many houses would it take? You know, and were the people all standing on the corner even if we were safe? You don't know, you know, because it was really shooting hard.
The juvenile driver was located and arrested by Bakersfield police, facing charges of hit and run and driving without a license. As for the man who's being called a hero, Rhodes says it's still all a blur.
It still feels fake. I mean, it's happened so quick. That really hasn't sunk in yet.
Reporting from Southwest Bakersfield, Thuy Lan Nguyen, 23 ABC.
We're not the deadliest police force in the world. We handle a threat. We protect the public the way we see fit and the way that the public wants us to protect them.
They're under fire for the way they've chosen to protect the public, but the Bakersfield Police Department says they're no different than any other police department in the country. They have the same responsibilities and the same tools.
You have a toolbox. You have to pick what is the appropriate tool.
Each BPD officer goes through use of force training before hitting the streets, equipped with a full arsenal on their belt.
Baton, taser, can of pepper spray, Glock, 9mm.
And after hundreds of hours of training, hopeful officers will find themselves in front of a projector screen, placed in front of dozens of different interactive scenarios based off real-life incidents, where they choose what force option fits the situation.
So we have controlling force, injuring force, and deadly force.
Those scenarios start off fairly straightforward.
You dispatch to a bar for peace disturbance between the bar tender and one of the bar patrons.
This is where you learn your first weapon in your toolbox is your voice.
I would tell him, stop, turn around and put your hands on top of your head. Then you see what he does. If he responds to that and he does what you tell him to do, then you might not have to use force. 23
ABC got the chance to go through a handful of use of force simulations. One of these scenarios started as a routine incident.
Okay, for this scenario, you're conducting a traffic stop on a vehicle for having expired registration.
But that standard stop quickly escalated and forced me to choose a weapon from my belt. No, I think you need to put it down, sir. The man not putting his bat down forced me to make a decision in less than 4 seconds. No! And as soon as I holstered my weapon, the questioning started.
Officer, why'd you discharge your firearm?
People will say, well, you could have just tased him, officer. That would have incapacitated him.
This line of questioning not at all uncommon for a cop in a shooting.
It's easy to, like, Monday morning quarterback an officer for the decisions that they make. You're having to make a life or death decision, a consequential decision in a split second that you know, lawyers and judges and the public and the media are going to have months to critique you about.
The Bakersfield Police Department was involved in 6 fatal shootings in 2015, and officers say this is just a hazard of protecting the community.
Every officer does not get up, get dressed, put on the uniform and the badge and go to work every day saying, I'm going to shoot somebody. We don't do that. But when it's between you, an armed suspect, and a citizen, it's your job to step in the middle of it.
BPD says between 2010 and September of 2015, officers responded to more than 1.5 million calls. 34 incidents resulted in an officer-involved shooting. But BPD Rangemaster James Ramos says if an officer decides to shoot, they should be hitting their target.
The only way to ensure that you stop the threat and protect the public is to hit what you're shooting at. It does no good for an officer to fire rounds downrange and not strike the threat. It puts the public in danger. When an officer pulls his gun out and actually uses it, it's the end of the line. It's where everything comes together, and misses don't win gunfights.
It's normal for an officer to draw their gun and never shoot it. Drawing a weapon can act as a deterrent, but also prepares an officer for the split seconds he or she will have to react.
You got to realize the suspect has already made up his mind when he's going to attack you. So you're already 1.5 seconds behind that decision-making process, because it takes you 3/4 of a second to recognize a threat, 3/4 of a second to react to the threat. You're 1.5 seconds behind. What can he do to you in 1.5 seconds? There's quite a bit he can do to you.
It's these quick decisions that officers make every single day, and decisions the Bakersfield Police Department tries to prepare their officers for.
I want them to go home that night. I want them to be able to, when you get up and you kiss your family goodbye, you know that could be the last time you get to do that. So I try to give them everything they can to be prepared for whatever can happen, whether it be defense tactics, whether it's how you talk to people, how you drive, everything to be as safe as you possibly can, because if you're not safe, then you're not protecting the public.